Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Family Law Talk.
Family Law Talk.
Presented by Kirk Stange of Stange Law Firm, PC. Stange Law Firm is a family law firm with offices in Missouri and Illinois. Now, here's your host, Kirk Stange.
Welcome to Family Law Talk. We have a great topic today. The topic is the second most common family law case. This is based on an article on FamilyLawHeadquarters.com dated February 14th, 2016, and the title of that article is the second most common type of family law case. So as a follow-up to the episode, you can go to FamilyLawHeadquarters.com and read that article. So let's get into the topic. Obviously, when people think about family law, lots of people have the idea of divorce in mind. So most individuals out there, I would bet, and this is based on my experience at least, when they think about family law, they think divorce. And they think divorce, the most common type of case. Divorce comprises really family law in that if there wasn't a lot of divorce, in other words, if the divorce rate were to drop, for example, there might not be a whole lot of family law cases out there. And again, I'm just sort of giving some of the popular views that are out there. I mean, this is general in nature. This isn't the case for everybody, but a lot of people just automatically put divorce and family law together and think those two go hand in hand. And really, when you're talking about family law, you're talking about divorce. And having said that as well, and again, I'm generalizing to a large extent, but there are a lot of folks, and I'm not taking sides in terms of this particular issue. I'm just sort of framing the issue for you. But there are a lot of individuals that point to the time when uncontested divorces came into play and folks didn't have to prove fault anymore in order to get divorced. And the thought process was this caused the divorce rate to rise considerably. And there's some in society that still think that fault ought to be really an essential ingredient of divorce, and that folks should have to prove fault in order to get divorced. And the belief is if that were the case, there'd be less divorce, there'd be less family law litigation in society, and as a whole, that would be a fantastic thing. And again, I'm not really voicing a viewpoint in terms of my personal views in terms of whether fault or no fault is preferable, one or the other. But here's really the issue, which is past divorce, there's sort of an increasing type of family law case out there which is growing in prominence apart from divorce. So even if there wasn't so much divorce in society, paternity cases, which is a term I broadly use to refer to litigation between unmarried parents, is really on the rise as well. And at least from my personal experience in terms of what I've seen, in terms of the number of cases coming in and out of our firm, we just see a ton of paternity cases. And some might ask, why is that? Why is there an increase in paternity cases? And here's really the deal in a nutshell, which is the out-of-wedlock birth rate has grown considerably in society. And if you look at U.S. Census Bureau statistics, the current data shows approximately 4 out of 10 kids are born out of wedlock, and that this is really growing in prominence. And again, I'm not weighing whether this is good, whether this is bad, and I can't really get into all the reasons why this is the case, except to say this is simply happening. Folks, for whatever reason, are having children. They're not getting married. Some, I think, would argue this, which is because of the high divorce rates that are out there, at least in the mind of some, because some have seen friends, family members go through nasty divorce litigation. The view is, on the part of some, is let's not get married. We can have kids, and then if we were to ever split up, the separation would be easier. It'd be simpler. It would be less contentious because we could amicably depart and we could avoid a court system in essence. So some folks are really of that mindset, not getting married. They avoid a nasty divorce in the case of a breakup, and then the hope is we can stay out of the family court. So again, some folks are of that mindset. Obviously, there's some folks that prefer not to be married, prefer to live with one another and have kids. And again, I'm not making judgments. I'm not stating whether that's good, whether that's bad. I'm just sort of framing the issue. So lots of folks in society, regardless, living together, having kids, they don't get married. A couple other common scenarios that I've seen as a family law attorney throughout my career are these particular types of situations. So take situations where teenagers, individuals in their early 20s even, are having kids. They're young themselves, so they have kids out of wedlock. They don't ultimately get married. And so lots of children are born out of wedlock in that type of circumstance. Again, I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just giving a common situation in terms of what I've seen in terms of increasing birth rates out of wedlock. Another common situation that takes place is some folks in the midst of maybe casual relationships, maybe early in dating, they're not in a committed relationship. A pregnancy will take place. So these folks were never together in any kind of committed relationship, and a pregnancy takes place. And so I'm sure there's other scenarios as well, but these are three of the common ones, at least I've seen. And in these circumstances, really the ironic thing is these individuals end up in court a lot. In these types of cases, generally referred to as paternity cases. And again, I know some attorneys might technically take issue with me and say you're being too broad in terms of calling all these cases paternity cases. In some of these cases, paternity isn't at issue, so why use that term? And I would concede that's true. But just for simplicity's sake, in terms of categorizing custody and support litigation between unmarried parents, I'm going to use the term paternity cases. A lot of attorneys use that term. It's a common definition for these kinds of cases. And let me break down a couple of the scenarios in which these cases can arise. On one facet, there's lots of these types of situations where the father will bring a lawsuit in the family court, generally referred to as a paternity case, and what they're seeking is custody rights to their child. So they want to set physical visitation schedule, which denotes the days and the times of the week they get to see their kids, in terms of a weekly basis, in terms of holidays. So who gets the kids on during the holiday season? Summer vacation can be a big issue as well. And in essence, they're looking for that kind of situation. They're looking for that sort of physical custody schedule, which divorcing parents get themselves. In Missouri, we call that a parenting plan. Other states use the term custody schedule. And, of course, that terminology can vary from state to state, so definitely check with a lawyer in your specific jurisdiction. But a lot of these cases are brought by the father seeking custody and visitation rights. In some instances, paternity can be an issue, and the court could order a DNA test just to confirm who dad is, because in some situations there can be a question. But that's scenario one, dad instituting the case in order to get custody and visitation rights. On the flip end, lots of moms will bring these actions as well. And moms can do it really one or two different ways, generically speaking. And again, consult with a lawyer in your particular state if this is a question for you, because the laws can vary. But moms, in some instances, will bring a paternity lawsuit in the circuit court. And what they are seeking in a lot of cases is child support. So maybe the cost of pregnancy is an issue. Maybe daycare, child care, food, diapers, formula, you name it. This stuff is expensive, and they ultimately are seeking financial assistance and help. And in some cases, they just don't feel assured or good that the dad is going to do this willingly without a court order. So they go to court seeking a court order. Additionally, moms sometimes want this parenting custody as well, because maybe they're doing custody informally with the dad. They're letting the dad have visitation and contact, but their worry can be theoretically, well, I could let the dad have the child, and what assurances do I have that I'm going to get the child back, because there's no custody order, there's no custody schedule in play. And so a lot of the mom's thought process can be that they want a custody schedule just to ensure after the dad has his visitation, they're going to get the child back and they wouldn't be deprived of visitation themselves. So moms can bring these actions for these reasons, sometimes other reasons as well. And again, I'm speaking generally. Obviously, every case is different, and there can be unique circumstances. Some moms as well will go to an administrative agency. In Missouri, we have what's called the Division of Child Support Enforcement. Other states have similar agencies with the same or different names. And the moms in some of these instances are looking for support. So they're not addressing the visitation issues, but what they're saying again is, I want a support order. And again, health care could be pregnancy costs, could be the formula, the diapers, daycare costs, these different things. They want a support order. So a lot of moms will begin these actions in an administrative agency to get support. Of course, the mom, the dad, no matter the situation, they should always get an attorney. That's always preferable. Some folks don't, however, get an attorney during the administrative process. If it's an administrative child support case, which even that is a bad idea, folks should definitely have an attorney during that process. But generically speaking, some folks try to go that alone, even though that's really not a good idea. Folks should have an attorney. But again, moms bring these cases. Dads bring these cases. Sometimes the reasons can be different in terms of why they bring paternity actions. And again, I'm using the term paternity cases to generically refer to all these different situations, even though these situations can be somewhat different. And in some cases, in fact, paternity might not even be in dispute. In some cases, the mom and the dad might both agree who the dad is, and there's no question about that. But just in a generic sense, a lot of attorneys, myself included, refer to these cases as paternity cases. And again, these are very common cases. They're very much on the rise, these types of cases. And so even if the divorce rate were to come down, theoretically, paternity cases with 4 out of 10 kids being born out of wedlock are very, very common. They're really becoming the new divorce in a lot of respects, the 21st century divorce, with the out-of-wedlock birth rates where they are. Of course, there's lots of other types of family law cases as well that are popular. Paternity cases are out there, divorces are out there, but of course adoptions are very common, prenuptial agreements, maybe orders of protection, juvenile family law cases, very common. We see, if we refer to these types of probate cases as family law cases, guardianships or conservatorships can be very common, grandparent visitation cases, but at least from my experience, in terms of what I've seen in my career, paternity cases, very, very common. Next to divorce, easily at our firm, the most common type of case that we see, and they're very, very much on the rise. And so whether folks get married, whether they don't get married, the reality is folks are still having kids, and a lot of these cases end up in the family court. And so even if divorce didn't exist, the reality is paternity cases still a significant family law issue in society. So again, that's a topic I wanted to cover today because lots of folks ask what the most common case is after a divorce. So again, as a follow-up to the episode, go to familylawheadquarters.com. We've got an article dated February 14th, 2016 titled, What is the Second Most Common Type of Family Law Case? You can definitely check that out as a follow-up to the episode today. So thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned to our next episode coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to Family Law Talk with Kirk Stange. Visit StangeLawFirm.com for more about today's topic or to put Stange Law Firm to work for your family today. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. Neither the Supreme Court of Missouri or Illinois reviews or approves certifying organizations or specialist designations. The information you obtain on this podcast is not, nor is it intended to be legal advice. You should contact an attorney for advice regarding your individual situation. We invite you to contact us and welcome your calls, letters, and electronic mail. Contacting us does not create an attorney-client relationship. Please do not send any confidential information to us until such time as an attorney-client relationship has been established. And finally, past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Kirk Stange is responsible for the content. Principal place of business, 120 South Central Avenue, Suite 450, Clayton, Missouri, 63105.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.